Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lam, and today I'll be taking you through my watch list for the week of January 8th, 2021. This is my first YouTube video, so please bear with me, but I'll be making proper adjustments and getting a good mic. For now, my current mic will have to do. I hope you all are having an amazing year and are excited for the first trading day of 2021. But first, let's go over some important events happening this week. Alrighty, at first glance, we can see the only days we really have to worry about are Wednesday and Thursday, as the Georgia runoff race is being voted on Tuesday night, with the joint Congress session to formally count the votes of the Electoral College being on Wednesday. The Georgia runoff race is very important, as the state of Georgia will be voting on who they want to represent them in the Senate. Most polls are predicting Republicans will hold the Senate. However, if Democrats are able to secure both Senate seats, this will lead to a tie, and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will then be the tiebreaker. This will not be good for the market, as it is like the thought of a blue house with a red Senate. This leads to a stalemate where no major policies can be passed or changed, and the markets really like this. We then have a formal count of votes on Wednesday and initial job claims on Thursday. There are many more economic events this week, however, these are the ones I believe will affect the market the most. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the stocks that I'm really looking at this week. The first play I'll be looking at is Teledoc. If we look at Teledoc on the daily time frame, we can see that it's formed a clear descending triangle. I like the possibility of a break above this resistance trend line, as it is one of ARK Fund's most bought stock. I also really like how it is consolidating right now around the 200 SMA after a big drop from good news on the coronavirus vaccine being approved. What Teledoc is a medical doctor that you can see online. If we go on the 4-hour time frame, we can see the drop right here with a clear support of 180, which is the bottom of the descending triangle, and then resistance here, a little bit here from the 200 SMA. And we see over the past week, it's clearly broken above it, then turned this resistance into a support. This is a very bullish signal, and I like it to the upside. I would expect another test up to that 205, 210 level, and if we can see a break, I believe this stock can really begin to run. However, as traders, we must be ready for any outcome. And if this stock is unable to bounce from this 200 SMA and falls through, I wouldn't be surprised to see it go back to that 180 support level. However, I will be playing this stock off of confirmation. So a break of the resistance trend line or a breakdown below of that 200 SMA. If you plan on pre-anticipating that break, please be prepared with a stop loss. The next stock I'll be looking at is Snow. Snow on the 4-hour time frame was holding the key support at that 300 level with a 200 SMA right below it. It broke the support last Thursday, and I believe it will continue to fall. This is not only due to the break of the key support level, but the lockup period that Snow is facing from January 4th to 7th. What a lockup is, when a company IPOs, it gives its shares to people on the inside that work for the company, and they have a specific time where they're not able to sell their shares. It usually lasts from 90 to 180 days after the initial public offering, and on these specific dates, these insiders are able to sell their shares. The first lockup was on December 15th for Snow, and the stock dropped almost 30% from its all-time highs, which was crazy. People were anticipating the stock selling off during the lockup, and as a result, they sold before this. The second lockup will be from January 4th to 7th, where Snow is releasing 37 million shares, which would come out to be almost 60% of the current available float, with many employees receiving these shares of Snow at $10 a share, and it currently being valued at 200 times the 2021 price to sales ratio. I believe many insiders will take profits on top of more sales being released into the market, and as a result, the stock will fall. These types of events tend to spike up the implied volatility and make option contracts increase in value. So if you are going to play it, I would recommend doing so with a spread to risk becoming IV crushed. All right, now if you guys are still watching and enjoying what you see, all I ask is that you hit the like button. If you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting all different kinds of videos weekly, from watch lists to how to invest and much more. Now, my final stock is NIO. NIO Day is coming up on January 9th, and people are very excited to see what they are producing to hopefully compete with other EV automakers like Tesla. As we can see, NIO had a nice bounce off the 200 SMA on the 4-hour time frame. It hit a low of 42, which touched the bottom of this support trend line, which confirmed the formation of a pennant, and all I was waiting for was a break, which we did get to the upside. If we look on the 30-minute time frame, we're able to see that NIO actually broke through, and if we go even closer to the 5, we can see not only did it break, but it broke, then tested that previous resistance trend line as a support, which in my opinion is a very bullish indicator. Even though it was held down by this resistance trend line, I believe we can see it continue to run up into NIO Day. Not all of this is based on technical analysis. Some of this is fundamental as well. So NIO usually does not release a certain amount of cars that it expects to deliver, or a goal. But for its last quarter, the fourth quarter, it actually did, and it set itself to deliver 16,500 or 17,000 cars. So in between there, and it was unusual because NIO has never done anything like this before. Not only did they meet those numbers, but they beat them. Deliveries are up over 120% year over year, and they were able to deliver 17,353 cars in the last quarter, totaling to a whopping 43,724 vehicles in 2020 total. I would not be surprised to see NIO gap up tomorrow, and I will be looking to play the scalp off the open. One honorable mention, a stock that I won't be giving as much attention, but I'll be closely watching, is Zoom. Zoom has been slowly selling off these past couple of days with all the vaccine news coming out and the fact that people may not be using Zoom as much anymore. They've been trading right now, so actually last Thursday they were trading at a key support level that they haven't touched since all the way back in September, and they did fall through that 340 level. So if volume picks up, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a gap down to that 310 level, as when it released earnings, it gapped up, it didn't create any resistance, didn't create any support. So there's no real resistance or support lines. I wouldn't be surprised to see a gap down to 310. One additional thing that I do tend to cover on every single one of my watch lists, the S&P 500 has broken out of this 12-year uptrend. We can see in the month of December, if I can go back to the daily time frame, we actually did break out first September 1st, but we fell below, and then we saw another break. Let me go closer. We saw another break with the Pfizer vaccine first approval, or some vaccine news, I'm not entirely sure, and we saw consolidation around this point. We then saw a push above, drop, and we saw support at this point. I think this is very, very key that we were able to turn this very long resistance into the support. We could see we then found support on the 4-hour 200 SMA, and recently, this past Thursday, we were able to bust through a descending triangle, rocketing 2 or 3 points into close on Thursday, which was just insane. I'm very curious to see what futures do in about an hour, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated, but please keep watch. I'm bullish on SPY as long as it's able to stay above this 360 level. And that is all for you today. I hope you guys have an amazing first trading week of the year. Please remember to balance the budget. Don't take on more than you're willing to lose. Let's make this the best week of the year. I mean, the first week of the year. Let's make some money this week. I will see you guys next video.